Hello, my friends. Welcome to Authentic Living with Linda. Today we're looking at optimism, seeing the benefit in little steps. Optimism is looking at the bright side of life, as the song goes. You have a choice in how you view everything. And this is called perspective. Often we believe what we have been told about the way things are. Often we've been told that this is how life is. This is the way it is, and it can't be changed. And we believe that until we know otherwise. And because we've bought into that belief that this is the way life is, that we go to work, we come home, we earn the money, we spend the money, and then the cycle starts again, we have created evidence to prove that that's how it is. I'm wanting to say that that's not how it has to be. We can change the evidence by changing our actions, which begin with our thoughts. So we change our thoughts, which change our feelings, which change our actions, and that changes everything. We prove to ourselves through the evidence that we create with the actions that we do what we believe. Perspective is very subjective. It's looking through a small lens at a certain object. And when we move to the left or the right, we get to see a little bit of a different perspective. So if there were three people looking at the same object, but they were standing in different positions around the object, they would see a different phase of the object, and they may not be looking anything like the original object. Put them together in a room and get them to discuss the object that they saw, they could quite happily argue that what they saw was three completely different items. And it's not until you take them back to that space and then move them slightly to the left or to the right that they get to see the object from the other person's point of view. This is what our life is like. We have been raised or trained or manipulated to think a certain way. And unless we choose to move to the left or to the right and look at it from a different way of seeing, we continue to walk on the path that we've been trained to walk on. So my view, what I'm wanting from today, is for you to move a little bit to the left or to the right and value your tiny little steps. Because tiny little steps are the tools, they're the things that move you into the life that you want. A dynamic living goes hand in hand with optimism. So optimism is one way of looking at life. We see what we want to see as a benefit to ourselves and to others in the long term. And so therefore we want to create that. What we focus on grows. Remember, we talked about that the other day. And energy attracts like energy. So optimistic people believe that they can make a positive impact in their life and in the life of others. And so they begin to take the tiny little steps that makes that so. And then they build evidence. And then when they see the evidence, they begin to believe more that they can impact people. And so it grows like a snowball. However, most of us discount the tiny little steps that we take daily and then focus on the huge steps. So when a concert pianist hops on stage to play his piano, we see the results of him sitting at the piano and we hear the beautiful music that he produces. What we don't see is the daily insignificant actions that he's taken. Hitting the wrong keys and then being corrected. Striking the keys inaccurately and then being corrected. having to work with his timing and his tempo and getting them wrong and then correcting. All the tiny little things, little steps that bring him towards playing the piano that we hear when he plays in the concert. We don't see the frustration of his tutor, or the pianist for that matter, in the daily actions that he has to take to get to the stage where we enjoy his music from the stage. So what I'm encouraging us to do is to look at the tiny little actions that we do every single day that make our lives what they are. Dynamic lives are created one tiny, tiny, tiny little action at a time. And optimism is seeing the incremental changes for the better, seeing the missteps and the learnings and the stepping stones as we go along, and continuing to take small steps. Our pearl of wisdom for today is the road to dynamic living is paved with thousands of tiny little steps. Do the next step you know how to do, and I'll see you tomorrow.